Hello everyone, my name is Ratkovic Milovan. Welcome to my new course, How to Beat E5. I'll tell you immediately, in this course the accent is on 4 knights game Scotch variation. I think this is the right way to play against E5, and this is the central part of the course. Of course, we will also do basically whole opening repertoire for white on E4, E5, and work on other variations like how to play against Petrov defense, how to play against Philidor, how to play against Elephant Gambit, and so on. So as I said, in this course we will talk about E4, E5, and basically this is, and of course we play knight f3 and move 2. This is all you need to know on E4, E5. So we will do basically all possible variations. Now black has many possibilities on knight f3 in the second move. As I said, the central part is knight c6, and we're going to talk about knight c3. Now the main move is knight f6, and this is my recommendation to go for d4 in move 4. So the name of this variation is 4 knights game Scotch variation. Just to show you, we will do some other things. We will talk about Petrov defense or Russian game, whatever. I mean, I don't know what do you call it, but we'll do this. This is important. We will talk about Philidor. We will talk about some unusual Latvian gambit, maybe Elephant Gambit, different kind of things. And that's it. We're going to cover everything, every line on E4, E5. As I said, the central part is 4 knights game Scotch variation. So let's get started. We will start with that line, and I'm gonna show you main things, main ideas in this opening. We should go for knight c3 in the move 3. They go knight f6. This is the main move. Of course, we will talk about alternatives like bishop c5, bishop b4, d6. I mean, really everything, every single move, every single possibility. Anyway, knight f6 is the main move. We should go d4, ed, knight d4. And now the main move for black is bishop to b4. On bishop to b4, white should take on c6. bc, and now white should play bishop d3. The main move for black is d5. Of course, there are also some other moves. We will, as I said, we'll cover everything, but let's go for this, and then we take. cd is the main move, but in this video, in the first video of the course, I would really like to talk about knight takes d5 variation, because it is quite interesting, and you will definitely face this move sooner or later. You have to know what to do if this happens. Knight takes d5 is not that great. It is mistake, at least in accuracy, and as I said, it's very important to know what to play now. The best move for white is short castle. So we don't care about the c3 threat. Black threatens knight c3 and then bishop takes c3 to win a pawn, but you know what? In the opening, development is very important. It's sometimes even more important than material. Not sometimes. I think very often development is more important than material. So we just castle short, ignore that threat. Black takes on c3. We take it back, and then black takes with the bishop. Now what to do? This is very famous variation, and these kind of ideas are super important. The right move for white is bishop to a3. We prevent castling, we sacrifice our rook, sacrifice an exchange, but in return, what happens here? Black king is stuck in the center. Right now the g7 pawn is hanging. It's very hard for black. Very, very hard. Black can defend it like this. But we win on the spot, just bishop h7. Then, okay, what else can black do? Maybe queen g5 to defend g7. But then, or queen f6, maybe queen f6 is even better. But then we just go bishop e2. Now the queen can go maybe to g5. And now bishop takes g7. Rook g8. And now this is an important moment because the bishop is hanging, and when we move the bishop somewhere, there is checkmate threat. So the right move for us is queen to c3. Fantastic move. Attacking c6. Now if rook g7, we have simple win. Queen c6, they go king to e7 or king to f8, it doesn't matter, and then or bishop d7, and we simply take the rook in the corner. We are up a pawn, and you see black's position is falling apart. Black maybe goes there, and then there is maybe bishop d5 threat. So just to make sure, we go g3, and this is winning position for white. Okay, this is not the main variation in four knights game Scotch variation, but it's definitely one of most interesting ones, and I think this is quite important. Of course, strong players will not play knight takes d5 in this position for sure, but you know what? There are some players who don't know opening theory, and knight d5 is really tempting, you know. Black takes there with tempo, attacks c3, and if black doesn't know opening theory, there are like big chances that he might do something like this. So on knight takes d5, we castle short. I would like to show you one more line before we finish with this introduction video. Knight takes c3, bc3, bishop takes, bishop a3, bishop a1, queen a1, queen f6, bishop b2, queen g5, we take, rook g8, queen c3. By the way, if black takes with the queen on g7, same story, almost the same story. We have to be careful now. Now we don't take on a8 because black has bishop h3. We can just take c7, go for check, go for this check, and now we even have checkmate on e5. Maybe black on queen c3, black doesn't want to take the bishop. Black goes bishop d7 instead, but then after rook e1, black cannot save the game anymore because if king d8, we have this fork, and if bishop e6, we just take on c6 with checkmate in a few moves. Maybe after knight takes d5 and castling, black sees what's going on, and he decides to play safe and go for a short castle. This move makes sense, and you know what, it's much better to castle short here than to take on c3, but white is still much better positionally. White should just go knight e4. And now let's take a look. Black has bad pawn structure on the queen side. That's big disadvantage. We have very nice, very good attacking chances on the king side. We go queen f3 or queen h5 in the next move. We have strong knight on e4, good bishops. g5 square is where our knight will jump, or we'll go bishop g5. We will see, it depends. But white is doing great in this position. Absolutely great. Okay, we're done with the first video in this course. Of course, that there are so many other things to see and to do, but you know what? This course will be 7 or 8 hours only, which means that in these 7 or 8 hours we will cover everything. In my opinion, every single detail. So if you really want to know how to play against e5, this is the right place for you. In these 7 or 8 hours, I mean, after you watch this carefully and practice these variations that I'm showing you, I think you will be almost invincible. Okay, that's it.